Master Arts Theater presents This Rock by Alan Poole. The writer takes us to the very day of the crucifixion. Immediately after that crucifixion, some of the disciples and followers of Jesus gather in an upper room in Jerusalem.
There they go. Hundreds of them, just as if nothing has happened.
Nothing has to them.
Listen to their chatter. They're like a lot of magpies.
A few days ago, they threw palms before his colt and shouted, "Hosanna! Hosanna indeed. Today they crucified him. Oh, the fools."
Don't, please.
The sky is very red tonight. Blood red.
The whole day has been strange. God is angry.
Andrew is a long time.
He won't come back until he finds Peter.
Oh, this eternal waiting. Why doesn't he come? Where are the others? Philip and Thomas and Bartholomew.
James, please, have some pity for us.
You will be going to the sepulchre with spices after the Sabbath?
I should like to, but there's the guard and the stone is sealed.
We must see Joseph. He must be able to influence Pilate.
I was surprised to hear what Joseph had done. I never thought he would dare ask for the body.
We knew he was a disciple in secret.
Yes, but I'd begun to doubt it. I thought he was afraid because of his position.
There's no doubt now. He is a brave man. His action is sure to bring him disfavor.
I don't think I told you. The centurion spoke to me afterwards.
The centurion? What did he want?
When the crowd had gone, he marched the soldiers a little distance away and came up to me. He said he was sorry, but he had only carried out his orders.
Orders? I expect the earthquake scared him.
I don't think it was that. He was standing very close to the cross when the master died, and I heard him say something which struck me as rather strange.
What was that?
Truly, this man was the Son of God.
They're a superstitious lot, these Romans.
He said he would speak to the men and try to get his coat back. He thought we might like to have it.
I should like to. That is, if
it should go to the mother.
If it ever turns up at all.
Yes, I didn't think. I'm sorry.
It's getting dark now. I hope Andrew is all right.
He's well able to take care of himself.
I'm not so sure. The master has been taken. It may be our turn next. Perhaps it would be as well to keep out of the way for a little while.
I shan't. If they want me, they can take me. I am not ashamed of being a disciple.
Do be reasonable, Mary.
Reasonable? What do you mean? Is reason your excuse for cowardice? You weren't afraid when the master was alive. Not even when they threatened him.
It was different then. He had power. When he was near us, we felt safe. We never thought they would take him.
And now they have, and you want to run away and hide. You want to desert him.
No, I don't. But what can we do by ourselves? What are we? Just ignorant fisher folk, strong in body, but as helpless as children.
At least we can die bravely as he did, unashamed.
But I don't think they'll bother us. Now the master is dead. They have nothing to fear from us, and they know it.
Here's Andrew at last.
Is Peter with him?
I can't see. There are so many people. No, he's alone.
Well, that means he hasn't found him.
We shall know soon. He's just come in.
Not a sign of him. I've searched everywhere.
Oh, this is intolerable. Deserting us like this just when we need him. Is he the leader or isn't he?
He's a servant of the master, as are we all. Only the master can help us now, not Peter.
What do you mean?
You talk like a fool. You know as well as any of us the master is lying in the tomb. What can he do now?
I don't know. I only know that we all believe that he was the Messiah.
Yes, we believed that.
Our prophets said the Messiah would come to deliver his people, but they...
I know. I can't think clearly. But I saw a man in the street who used to be blind. Doesn't that mean anything?
It might have then, but not now.
I wonder if
Yes?
perhaps we are blind. Perhaps, oh, I don't know what I'm thinking. Oh, I've seen Philip and Thomas
Where?
on the outskirts of the city. I told them where they could find us. They haven't seen Peter since yesterday.
Has no one seen him? Has he left the city?
Peter wouldn't do that.
Is there any other news?
Judas hanged himself.
Oh,
He went to the priest this morning and gave them back their money. He told them that he betrayed the innocent blood.
I can't understand Judas. He was so enthusiastic at first. Why did he do it?
I suppose things turned out differently from what he expected, from what we all expected.
I don't understand you.
Our prophet said the Messiah would lead us to victory over our enemies. Instead,
How can you talk like that? The master was kind and gentle. He wouldn't hurt anyone, not even a Gentile. You believed in him when he was alive. Now he's dead. You want to desert him. You just don't care.
We do care, Mary.
It can't be all over. I just won't believe it. Andrew's right. What of the lepers who were cleansed and the deaf who can hear and the lame who can walk again? That must mean something. Everywhere he was triumphant over pain and ugliness. This just can't be over. It just can't.
Yes, everywhere he was triumphant. He saved others, but he couldn't save himself. Remember how they mocked him and challenged him to come down from the cross.
Why didn't he?
Because he couldn't, Mary. He was beaten.
No, I see it now. He couldn't. They beaten him. Oh, how horribly cruel. He could save others, but himself.
Why not lie down for a while and try to sleep? You'll feel better then.
I can't realize it just yet. It just doesn't seem possible. We shall never see him again. If only I'd been there when you'd kept the Passover. Just to have heard him speak to you. John said he told you many things.
He did, but we only understood a little. Most of it I've forgotten now. So much has happened since then.
Can't you remember anything?
My mind is so confused. I just can't think now.
There's one thing he said which I shall never forget.
Do tell me.
These things I have spoken unto you, that in me you might have peace. In the world you shall have tribulation. But be of good cheer. I have overcome the world.
There is comfort in those words.
It's almost as if he was in this very room speaking to us.
You're imagining things.
Peter!
At last. Well?
Peter? We've been looking for you. Where have you been?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Tramping the streets.
What is it, Peter?
Mary, he was forgiving, wasn't he?
Yes.
Could he forgive anything?
He forgave me.
Yes, I know, but
Tell us, Peter.
I denied him
You denied him.
3 times. Before the cock crowed twice. He warned me.
When was this?
After he was taken in the garden, I was frantic. I couldn't let him go alone, so I followed them to the high priest's palace. They took him into the hall, and I crept in and sat down among the servants.
Go on.
Then they brought witnesses to prove his blasphemy. But they couldn't agree. After a while, the high priest stood up and asked him if he was the Christ.
What did the master answer to that?
I am. Hereafter shall you see the Son of Man sitting on the right hand of God and coming in the clouds of heaven.
What a glorious answer. I am so ashamed of myself.
Then the high priest said he was condemned of his own mouth and guilty of death. So they all set upon him and beat him and spit in his face. And I sat there and said nothing. A little later, a serving woman came up and asked me if I was one of his followers. Everyone began to stare at me, and I was afraid and denied it. Then someone else said he was sure he had seen me in the garden. I turned on him and I told him he was a liar. But at once another joined in and said he knew I was a Galilean by my speech. I couldn't stand any more of it. They were all staring at me, and wherever I looked, I met angry eyes. I began to curse and swear, and I denied him again, and then
Yes.
the cock crew. As they led the master away, he turned and he looked at me. His eyes, oh, our Father in heaven. All night long I walked the streets, trying to shut out those eyes, but it was no use. I was in the crowd that followed him to the hill this morning. After they crucified him, I stayed and watched from a distance. I didn't dare come too close lest I should see his eyes again. Later, I came back to the city and went to the garden. I found the place where he prayed last night. There were 2 impressions in the earth where he knelt.
Peter, don't torture yourself anymore.
but I can't help it. What can I do?
Nothing now. We are all to blame. We all forsook him and fled.
But I professed so much. I failed him more than any of you. I denied him.
Calm yourself. What are we going to do now? That's the point.
Do? What can we do? The master's lying in the tomb. It's finished now.
We are fishermen. This place is foreign to us. We can go home.
There can be no home now without him. Everywhere we go, he will haunt us. We shall see him sitting on the hillsides among the spring flowers. When we are fishing, he will be there with us in our boat. Every time we see a field of corn waving in the sunshine, or hear the song of a bird, or look upon the smiling face of a child, we shall remember. We cannot shut him out, we who knew him.
No, we cannot forget. But we must go on and face the future bravely together, serving one another as he would have us do.
Andrew is right. We must go back to our work.
I can't go back. We are fishers of men now. He made us so.
Well, what are you going to do?
I don't know.
There's no other way. We must live. We can begin again, all of us, except Judas.
Judas? What of him?
He's dead. He hanged himself.
What? When?
This morning, he went to the priests and he gave them back their money, but it was no use.
Judas dead? He was a traitor. He deserved to die.
The master would never have said that.
He was a traitor. He had to die. He took the only way out. I too am a traitor.
What do you mean?
Nothing. I'm just going out for a while.
Stop him. Don't let him go.
It's all right, Mary. Everything's all right.
You're not going out, Peter.
I am. Let me pass.
No.
Let me pass, I tell you. You've
No.
got to. I must get out.
It's no use, Peter.
But I must. Don't you see? I can't go on living now. It's the only way out. I want to die.
Listen, you are Peter the Rock. Do you hear that? That's what he called you. Remember the story of the house built on the rock? The wind and the rain couldn't shake it. You are the rock, and he said he would build his church.
Stop it. Stop it.
Do you remember?
Yes. Yes, are you trying to torment me?
We all feel the same. None of us can see ahead, but we must go on, however hard it is. You want to take the coward's way out. You want to deny him again.
I can't hurt him anymore now. What's the use of going on? What can we do? It's the only way out, I tell you.
And you are Peter the strong, the fighter, the one who would never desert him. Never, as long as there was a breath left in your body. And now you want to crawl away and die like a sick animal in the undergrowth.
Andrew, don't.
At least I'm not afraid to die. Get out of my way, I tell you. Let me pass.
Simon Bar-Jonah,
Yes?
many years ago, your master was presented in the table in the temple. There was a very old man. His name was Simeon. He took the child Jesus in his arms, and he held him and he blessed him. And then he spoke to me, and he told me that my son was set for the fall and rising again of many in Israel, and that a sword would pierce through my own soul also. I was much younger then. I didn't understand. but I do now. That sword has fallen on me today. Listen, Simon. We are all passing through the valley of the shadow of death. Perhaps we have to go down deeper yet, even into the valley. Maybe we shall never come into the sunlight again. There is no light in our darkness. We have only our memories, those they cannot take away. I know your grief, Simon. It's as mine. I know your remorse, but you are forgiven.
If only I could believe that.
You cannot believe me?
But how can you know?
Because he was my son. Look at me. You say that as he was led away, he turned and looked at you. Why did you want to shut out those eyes? Why couldn't you bear to meet them again?
Because I was ashamed.
Yet it was more than that.
I don't understand.
What did you see in his eyes?
I don't know.
Think, Peter.
I don't want to think. I can't bear it.
You must.
If only there'd been reproach, blame, disappointment, but there wasn't. It was hell.
The hell of being face to face with absolute love.
Face to face with, why, yes, that's what it was. Absolute love.
He forgave you, Peter.
He forgave me. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors.
Thank you so much for watching Quarantine Readers Theater. We hope you enjoyed this presentation. If you'd like to give to support the Ministry of Master Arts Theater, links to our giving page are in the description below. If you have suggestions for future readings, please feel free to leave a comment or send an email to director@masterarts.org. That's director@masterarts.org. Thanks so much for spending some time with us. We hope you enjoyed this reading.